You know, the strangest thing I ever thought I would see in the Sun and Moon anime was the Altaria when its feather got wet a couple episodes ago, but a Alolan Golem with a mohawk takes the cake for that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 95 of the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime just dropped, and it was a very strange episode, so let's check it out. The episode begins with Komala banging the bells and the Ultra Guardians forming at the basement. They're in their planning room talking to the Aether Foundation. They've been assembled not because there's an Ultra Beast or anything, but rather there seems to be a powerful magnetic reaction centered around Whale Volcano, and it's disrupting their equipment to detect Ultra Auras. Apparently, before, there were only trace amounts near the craters and mines, but now it seems to be spreading throughout the entire volcano, so they're sent to investigate why that's happening. Whale Volcano, the Graveler, the Golem, and the Hikers. We see the Ultra Guardians fly towards Whale Volcano. They land and decide that it's probably better to investigate on foot. Ash asks how they're going to investigate something like magnetic abnormality, and Lily and Sophocles tell him that they're going to use this sensor that they have. It's going to tell them where the magnetic abnormality is happening. They have two sensors, so they decide to split up into groups of three. Ash, Kiawe, and Sophocles will investigate around the mines, and Lily, Lana, and Mallow will investigate around the place that they landed. The guys and their Pokemon head off, and the girls see an arrow on their sensor pointing west. Lily tries to take a picture of that sensor to see what they can find, but instead, in the picture, they see three hikers instead. The hikers are the same one from the game that show up in Kiawe's trial. The hikers, this time, just say hi and leave, baffling the girls. We cut to the guys, and it seems Marowak is the most fired up out of everyone. Ash assumes it's because it's at its home. However, just then, all three Pokemon that were walking in front of the guys notice something, and Sophocles can see that they do notice something because his sensor is also pointing an arrow towards the direction they're looking. Turns out, it's a bunch of Alolan Geodudes and Gravelers, and it looks like they're gathered around something. Rotom gives our hero the Pokedex entry on them, and Ash is surprised that their eyebrows are so huge. Rotom explains to him that in the Alolan Geodude line, the Pokemon with the largest, thickest eyebrow, which is made from iron sand, will have the most authority. So then where's my guy at? It turns out they're the reason why the magnetism is so high, because so many of them are gathered in one place. They're gathered around eating what's called spark stones. They're basically stone infused with electricity. But Kiawe finds this strange. Not that they're eating stones, no, that's perfectly normal. It's the fact that they're eating them out in the surface. Normally, these Geodudes and Gravelers live underground in mines, and they have plenty to eat there, so it doesn't disrupt the magnetism in the surface. But something's causing them to eat like this outside. Just then, we see someone send out a pincer to try and get the Geodudes who are eating the spark stones out of their eating spot. Then we see someone else mining where the Geodudes were just eating. They only find a small spark stone and throw it away. They say that if they can't find any on the outside, that they should go to the mines. Just then, however, Kiawe stops them. He asks them what they want, and they say that they're looking for spark stones. When Ash tells them that the Geodudes were already here eating first, they say that since stones are made by nature, they're everyone's gift. Then, a battle ensues between the miners and Kiawe. The miners tells his pincer to use trash, and Kiawe counters by using Flare Blitz, sending the pincer flying. Even though it was a really short fight, there was some nice animation here. This sends the miners away for now. The Geodudes and Gravelers are back to eating the sparking stones, but Kiawe has a bad feeling that they're going to try to do something else, especially since they mentioned going to the mines. They decide that they should go after the miners. We cut to the mines, and we see two other people are digging for some spark stones. We see a group of Geodudes watching from a distance, and then we see our heroes doing the same. They're wondering why people are digging up these spark stones, and they get their response immediately. It's the three hikers from earlier. They explain that the sparking stones nowadays are being sold as jewelry, and there's a boom for them, which is why the miners, who are called rock hunters, are digging them all up. This is why the Geodudes are in the surface of the volcano. Kiawe's angry at this and blows a metaphorical volcano, but as he's doing that, there's a real explosion that happens in the cave, and we see some rock hunters running away. Our heroes go to investigate and see that there's been a cave-in and that the rock hunters are stuck behind the rock, but regardless, they have to help them. Kiawe tries to push the rock, but it doesn't budge. Sophocles then sends out his ride Matang, and it clears the rocks. They go in and immediately notice how hot it is. Rotom even says the heat could make him shut down. Apparently, it's the heat from the magma that got amassed in the room. Just then, though, Ash notices the rock hunters from earlier with the pincer. They're all collapsed. Who's that Pokemon? It's Alolan Graveler! Our heroes wake the rock hunters up and they start freaking out that something caused something to go kaboom. Kiawe tries to get them to calm down. Then they say that they were picking up spark stones when all of a sudden something sparking came flying towards them. Just as they're saying this, the same thing happens and a rock from the cave collapses. It almost crushes them, but they're saved by Alolan MOHAWK. We then see what it is. It's an Alolan Golem who's doing this. Apparently, Alolan Golems can fire rocks charged with electricity from its head, and it seems to be doing that angrily. Sophocles says that they need to stop it, otherwise the entire mine that they're in will collapse. It fires another charged rock at Marowak. Marowak attacks and breaks the rock, but it gets hit by the electricity. Then, Sophocles and Ash send out Togedemaru and Pikachu. It seems the Golem is out of rocks now, and they're about to go attack it, when all of a sudden, the Golem picks up a Graveler from the floor and uses it as a rock and hits both Pokemon. The Golem's going crazy and spamming the Geodudes all over the caves, causing it to start collapsing in certain parts. Then, it fires the Geodudes at our heroes, who are luckily saved by Sophocles' Matang. It then goes up to the Golem, hitting it in the head, initiating a fight. All the Pokemon are cheering this fight on. The Matang needs to stay in close combat so the Golem can't fire any rocks at our heroes. The two Pokemon are going head to head, evenly matched, when all of a sudden, the Golem hits the Matang and sends it flying. But then, for some reason, all the Geodudes and Gravelers stop celebrating. Why? Matang has somehow taken the Golem's iron sand and made a mustache and eyebrow for himself. Remember, the Graveler line thinks that whoever has the best, thickest eyebrow is the leader. So, they follow Matang and start cheering it on. Well, then the Golem tries getting back its iron sand, but then it gets turned into a Mohawk. The Geodude and Graveler are confused and they don't know what to do. They keep going back and forth on different styles and different haircuts and different mustaches and things like that. Then, Matang finally attacks it again, taking the iron sand back. This back and forth goes on for a while until both Pokemon are on the ground exhausted, but it seems the Matang still has the iron sand, so it's the winner. The Golem looks sad, and the Matang then hands the iron sand over to the Golem, and they look like they've become friends. They meet up with the girls and tell the Aether Foundation about what's going on. Lusamine says that she'll make sure to send out more patrol throughout the area, but the kids are worried that it might be too much work for Officer Jenny. But they need not worry. The hikers from earlier will make sure that this volcano is safe. The Golem sees the hikers and decides to join them. They capture the Golem and it becomes a member of their team along with their Magmar. The episode ends with the conclusion that with the new addition to their team, the hikers should be able to protect Whale Volcano. The Eevee Where Are You Going skit continues from last week. This week, there isn't a real story per se. Eevee's riding along in Mantine's back when Mantine spots a wave and starts riding it, causing Eevee to fall down. Afterwards, Eevee decides that it wants to keep doing it until it can get the hang of it. So, they keep riding the waves, and eventually, Eevee sticks a landing. They're both really happy, and they continue to wherever they're headed. The after-credit scene is one where there's a lady looking around the map trying to get around Whale Volcano when she's scared because the hikers pop up in front of her. The next episode seems to be located in the Aether Foundation, and the trailer seems to focus a lot on Stuffle, so I assume this is where Jessie gets the Stuffle we saw in the Season 21 poster from. It'll be fun to see how Jessie will get a new Pokemon and also how the Beware will react to the Stuffle. But I'm also kind of worried. It looks like the Stuffle is attached to Jessie, but James already has something like that with Marini, so why have it with both characters? I don't know. Overall, this episode was weird. The episode starts off fine enough with rock hunters and how they're causing a problem. The episode then shifts to the Golem attacking the rock hunters. At first I thought, well, they're going to show how the Golem's fighting back to protect its cave and all that, and I guess there is a bit of a subtext that implies that, but our characters say that the Golem is just angry and hellbent on destroying the cave, which kind of ruins it. Why is it angry? I don't know. Then, the Matang and the Golem fight is just another can of weird. I'm not even sure what to say about it. I did burst out laughing, so kudos to the Sun and Moon anime for being able to keep up a comedy even this far into the series. Although I will say the whole Ultra Guardian thing felt unnecessary. I mean, I understand why. They had to have a reason to go to Akala Island for just one episode, but still, it feels like if you aren't going to use characters, it's better not to have them in the episode. Lily, Mallow, and Lana didn't do anything, and that's unfortunate. Overall, though, I still enjoyed this episode. But anyways, that's it for my review of Pokemon Sun and Moon episode 95. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can like, share, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRealPDGaming. Join me for next episode 96 next week, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.